Well, good afternoon everybody and welcome to Prague, specifically the Strahov Stadium where West Ham under 18 have travelled all the way to the Czech Republic in this year's NextGen Cup. There have been a few renditions of this over the last couple of years. Of course, West Ham United back in 2023 had an emphatic campaign and won the tournament, beating Tottenham Hotspur 8-0. Fast forward 2 years on and a lot of those players such as George Earthy, Regan Clayton, Callum Marshall, Patrick Kelly have all gone, well, on loan in the meantime, and who knows where their careers could end up in the next couple of years. Fantastic set of players back in 2023, but now we're in 2025 and here are your Irons for their first game against Slavia Prague. In goal, the ever-present Finley Hooper, of course, in goal today instead of Lanre Owesu. Vinnie Perkins, Rion Smith, Callum Leacock, Joe Scanlon, Tyrone Omontay, Aaron Kamara, Lewis Beckford, Andre Dyke, Jepfer Medine and Joel Kerr. As for Slavia Prague, in goal, of course, they've got Suchev, Barco, Janota, Tomiak, Potmesil, Frolic, Saladin, Katrukajivil, Skokan, Ferink and Callus. So that is the lineup for Slavia Prague. I had somewhere with their first names, but it's gone. So just the surnames will do for now, but looking forward to this one. You join me, Ollie Audis, here in the gantry in Prague. Of course, your Irons are taking on Slavia Prague, and they do feel like a bit of a relevant club for any West Ham fan. Of course, the recent signing of Elaj Malik Diouf, and of course, previously, Vladimir Soufal and Thomas Souček. So they are a club that feel quite ingrained in West Ham history of late. And the way Diouf delivered that sublime ball towards the captain Bowen back in the States last weekend against Bournemouth really tells you what could be to come for your Irons. But now, this afternoon, our attention is focused on the future of West Ham. Of course, Graham Potter is very fond of using the academy. That's what we've seen throughout the first team pre-season tournament, with the likes of Freddie Potts coming back, Lewis Orford, Callum Marshall, Aridas Golombekis, Caelan Casey, players like that who 2-3 years ago were playing for the under-18s, and now they're getting opportunities to be in and around the first team, which will be so invaluable. So it really does show, with a manager like Graham Potter at the helm, who's willing to use that nucleus of talent that he said when he came in. You really feel that the first team isn't too far away. Of course, got to put in the mindset performance. You've got to be mentally prepared, physically prepared, all of those cliches. But when you've got a manager like Potter, and when you've got a setup like there is at the moment, it really can make these youngsters feel included and, of course, excited for what could be to come at the Academy of Football. So the NextGen Cup, of course, an initiative that started. It's been chaired and ran by many different organisations, but this year the NextGen Cup is brought to you in Prague, and currently there is another game going on at the moment. But before I go through that, I'll just give you an idea of the setup. Of course, it runs until the 10th of August. West Ham United will be playing 3 games, 2 of which will be in a group stage. And the tournament's made up of 6 teams, so 2 groups of 3. And then those games will be played from today till Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday is the finals day, where the bottom place side of both groups will face one another. The second place side will face each other, and then you get it. The winners of both groups will go into a proper final to see who will win the NextGen Cup of 2025. So if you're just joining us, I'll go over your Irons side. Finley Hooper in goal, Vinnie Perkins, Rion Smith, Callum Leacock, Joe Scanlon, Tyrone Omonte, Aaron Kamara, Lewis Beckford, Andre Dyke, Jep Fermadine and Joel Kerr. Those are your Irons, young Irons, ready to take on this Slavia Prague side. The under-19s for Slavia Prague against the under-18s for West Ham. A lot of debuts, but also a lot of players that are going to be involved in the under-18s this season, as we see that natural shift from under-18s playing in the under-21s last season and the under-21s playing in the first team. It's now time for those born in 2007, 2008 even, to make their mark in this under-18 side. So not just am I looking forward to this NextGen Cup, but also seeing how this talent can strive forward for the season to come. Well, the captain there, of course, the number 3, Joe Scanlon, made a lot of appearances in relation to the rest of the players in and around the West Ham lineup this afternoon. He made 15. Of course, we're seeing a lot of players, especially on the bench, not yet given the chance to play for the under-18s. So a player like Joe Scanlon, who also tallied 1 goal and 3 assists in those 15 games last season, will certainly be looking to try and push on in this campaign and even get some minutes for the under-21s. The other captain for Slavia Prague, number 23, Stepan Chalos. He's just doing a team talk now with his side. And before kickoff, we're just a few minutes after kickoff. All the intended time, of course, right now over there, it's 3:30 or 5:30. 5:30. Just getting my time zones a little bit mixed up, but 5:30. Of course, kickoff to come any moment from now. Of course, these under-18s will be hungry for success this season. Going into the campaign after the previous under-18s won the Premier League Cup back in April this year. I was there with, of course, Mark Phillips, the one and only. And looking forward to seeing him at the Gantry this season. So if you're listening, Mark, all the best to you. And all best to everyone watching right now. You join me, Ollie Audis, here in Prague for the Academy of Football's game against Slavia Prague. Becoming a feeder to West Ham in recent years. Who could be the next gem in black on the pitch this afternoon that could find themselves in claret and blue colours in a few years' time. Of course, Juve is certainly looking impressive in pre-season. Someone, considering how attacking he can be, the fact that he's a defender, I'm sure he'll be in a lot of people's fantasy Premier League teams. And of course, as mentioned earlier, the under-18s winning that Premier League Cup. What a great feeling that was at the Majeski Stadium, seeing them win 2-1. Of course, Josh Ajala getting both goals. Big season for him, of course, but someone who made the step up from the under-18s to the under-21s at the beginning of last season. And Now it's a fresh set of under-18s. On that far side, West Ham have a throw. Of course, if you're just joining us here, just to give you a bit of competition context, it's split into 2 groups of 3, with each team playing 2 group matches and a final placement fixture against their seeded counterpart in the opposite group. Of course, the group stage will take place between today and Friday, with a day off on Saturday before finals day kicks off on Sunday. Of course, West Ham will be looking to get into the final, and if they do, that'll be at 5 p.m. our time. And of course, we're bringing you live on the YouTube channel West Ham United versus Lille, 3 p.m. kickoff time on Saturday. First game back at the London Stadium. Scanlon tries playing it in the direction of Joel Kerr, but he doesn't have the balance to stay up on his own 2 feet. Tussling going on as it's broken beyond Aaron Kamara. Here comes their number 11, Peter Pommesin. Goes out for a Slavia Prague throw. Just need to be wary, West Ham, as they managed to have some space exploited in the middle of the park. Safely collected by Hooper, who, just like with Lanre Awesu last season, had a really impressive campaign. Of course, Finn Herrick at the moment looking extremely positive and bright for the under-21s, but Hooper is just short of contention for that under-21 spot, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on this campaign, and that just there is an example of what he can do when the ball's at his feet. Here's Kerr. That's a nice ball. It's opened up for Jepfer Medine. Tricky feet as they look to try and get an early goal. Through Medine, pulling it across. And unfortunately for West Ham, there was a player ducking down. I think his name was Frolic, who just kneeled down to block that effort. That was promising. All coming down through Jepfer Medine. Now it's a chance to line up the first set piece of the game. As West Ham looks to try and get a goal in the first 5 minutes. Dealt with relatively easy, but unable to really clear it away from them. This time they do that. And Hooper goes and wallops it right back to them. Bit of head tennis going on between both sets of players, as it's then collected calmly by number 21, Rion Smith. They try to play it in behind. Joel Kerr trying to play off the shoulder of the number 23, Stepan Kalas. Hooper just taking his time, waiting for the right option to appear. Slavia Prague looking to just clip it in behind. It's a good opportunity, and it was a positive run as well from the number 6, Matthias Tomek. Hooper was alert to the danger, and he did his job. Smart idea from Slavia Prague. Hooper once again, almost caught off his line. He has been now, surely, and Slavia Prague take an early lead. From a mistake at the back, the number 11, Petr Potmesil, punishes West Ham. Hooper just spent too much time with the ball at his feet there. Perhaps got a little carried away. Not the most successful slide you'll see as a celebration, but they won't care as they're a goal up now in the NextGen Cup. Well, West Ham started it positively. Of course, still lots of time left to be played. But I suppose that's just the thing with Hooper. He can be so good with the ball at his feet, but sometimes it's about knowing when to release it rather than hold on to it to play the best looking pass, perhaps. This time West Ham tried to hit them back. They still have it though through Medine. Not for long. This is a ball down the line, tussling between Tomek and Leacock. Tomek gets the better! And it was almost sent in from Frolic as he just tried to wrap his right foot around it. But Leacock was beaten there. And that's good defending too from Rion Smith. At the right place to have the effort deflected off him and out for another throw. Corner kick. They take it smartly. This looks promising. Another flick. This looks promising for Slavia Prague once more at the byline. And it goes out for a West Ham throw. So Slavia Prague feeling themselves in the opening 10 minutes here. Especially with that last corner as well. It looked like a training ground tactic where they passed it towards the edge of the 6-yard box. West Ham so far just losing their duels. Hooper will collect that one. See the idea from Hooper there, just trying to loft it in towards the centre circle at quite a low height. And I suppose when the player you're aiming for is slightly pushed off balance and a foul isn't given, as you can see, the ball just ends up going straight back to the other side. But good determination in the midfield for West Ham. Coming through Tyrone Omotoye. Slight slip there, which just allows Scanlon a chance, but brilliant determination from Potmesil, the player who scored, not giving up on that one. Now here comes a chance for West Ham to try and get an equaliser through Andre Dyke. Dyke sending a ball, it's awkwardly cleared. Not the second time round though. West Ham win it back in a good area, but they're unable to keep it. Of course, the other side's playing in this NextGen Cup tournament. You've got both Prague teams, Sparta and Slavia Prague. And of course, Rangers, Southampton and FC Midtjylland. Currently, Sparta Prague and Rangers are battling it out, and Sparta Prague are 2-0 up against Rangers. So currently, the teams in Prague are having a good time against the sides from Britain. Here they come, once more. Keeping it on the byline. Nicely well done from Joel Kerb. He's unable to keep it. See the passing here, quick and simple, and they managed to keep it on the right. Now Aaron Kamara. Out of all the players starting for this under-18 side, Aaron Kamara made the most appearances last season, and he featured in that Premier League Cup under-18 win. So he'll be a player that these newcomers, who are perhaps in their first year of being a scholar, or still in their schoolboy days, he'll be someone they'll turn to. Someone who knows this level very well. Here's Scanlon. Scanlon just dispossessed quite easily. Here comes Slavia Prague once again. Up towards Tomek, who tries to just send in a ball in the penalty area. But perhaps he didn't know what he was trying to get himself into, and he just scuffs it all the way to Finley Hooper. This looks promising. Here's Andre Dijk. Hasn't seen much of the ball. He's managing to dribble it with it well. Just too much. Too much. That's a blessing for West Ham, as the ball's sent in. Slavia Prague get fortunate with the poor touch. Slavia Prague then have a free kick, which they're willing to take quickly, but the referee isn't. He pulls them back. Bodies around the box. West Ham's organisation forces Slavia Prague back. They try to get back into a forward bit of momentum now, and that's positive as he slides it through in behind to the goal scorer. Peter Pomesil was laid off by Simon Janota. But he was in an offside position. Good line held from West Ham there. Up towards the centre forward position. Kamara trying to keep track of the ball. But Slavia Prague just suffocating this West Ham side so far. Not really giving them much time to think, even when they get into an attacking position, West Ham. Slavia Prague are just able to close them down quickly and win the ball back. Now this is smart. Over the top. And look at the flag to make sure it stays down. Slavia Prague, what an effort and what a goal. And it's 2-0 now. Thomas Ferenc joining his colleague Potmasil on the score sheet. And it's 2-0 before 18 minutes here. Really well worked. No one picking up Ferenc. Typical central midfield run there as the ball comes out to him on the edge of the box, hitting it first time and getting the control on it to take it past a diving hooper. Well, Slavia Prague, to be truthful, have just looked more up for it so far. They've also just seemed like they've just got that edge right now. And how Loris Coggins goes about trying to switch this, of course he does have plenty of players at his disposal, but of course you've still got 25 minutes to play with this lot, so you'll just have to try and maybe tweak a few things or notice where perhaps the mentality is different between West Ham and Slavia Prague. Because right now there seems like there's only one team that's scoring. But hopefully West Ham can try and get a goal back now. They have got talent on the pitch. And to be fair, the 2 goals from Slavia Prague did come from one error, but also one brilliant piece of football. West Ham have got the players on the pitch to do that, but of course it is a very young side as well. This Slavia Prague side are also an under-19 level, so regardless of the scoreline, it's still good experience for this young West Ham side to come up against the stature of a team like their opposition today. Well, some substitutes have been asked to go and warm up. None brought on just yet. So we're into the 20th minute here. Now that's lovely from West Ham. Just unfortunate with the final ball, but you can see glimpses there of what West Ham can do. And now they're winning it back and trying to make something happen down the right. Back out to Smith. Waiting for the run. Here's Medine. Up against Janota. feeding in a good ball. Scanlon was there around it. But it fell kindly to the Slavia Prague centre half, and now they're just gaining yards on West Ham. After West Ham had their best display of passing yet, Slavia Prague managed to get it down the other end of the pitch and win themselves a throw. Scanlon needing to slide in there to ensure his counterpart Frolic, the number 12, didn't make the most of getting the ball down on this near side. It's a quick throw, so quick even it didn't give Callum Leacock much time to think about. Which is why we're now seeing the first corner of the game. Swung in towards that near post. Looked like it was destined to be an own goal, and then it was hit straight over. Fortunate there for West Ham, but when it was swung in towards that near post, I don't know who got the final touch, but it looked like it was going to swirl back into that far corner, and then the strike was hit with some power from Saladin. He was unable to keep it down. Run back nicely by Barcott. That'll be another throw. Gifted away. West Ham can try and capitalise now. And Andre Dyke wins the foul. He too, another player in this side that has featured a lot for the under-18s, especially last season. Scored 3 goals and 1 assist to his name in 16 appearances. Here comes Jephthah Medine. Swung in with a lot of height. This has opened up some fortune now for West Ham. Joel Kerr going down, but the referee doesn't see anything in that. In a minute, we're hoping he potentially could point to the spot, but of course it was quite a congested penalty area. Hard to really see what went on. Frustration shown there from Matthias Tomek, who believes he should have won the foul, but instead it was Callum Leacock. See this a bit where Hooper is reluctant to just play it quickly. Of course he can do there, but he likes to take his time, just waiting for those runners to perhaps come short, and then when one of them does, where does the other player run to in order to be able to make that space in the midfield? But they're unsuccessful with trying to create any space then, as the ball finds itself back with Hooper in the same position. Now maybe they can make something happen. Rion Smith plays it up the pitch. Laid off back to him. Clipped ball over the top, finding Jepthamudeen. He sends it across the pitch. This is lovely. This is brilliant. Kamara just didn't have time or space to fire the shot towards the goal. And if you felt he did, he'd have certainly tested the goalkeeper. But that was really well worked from West Ham. Good defending as well, it has to be said, from the captain, the number 23, Stepan Kalos. Did enough to put Kamara off and nullify that threat. The Slavia Prague player's going down now. Didn't look too good. And he's back up on his feet, and once again it was the 23, Stefan Klaus. Of course, going into this game, West Ham confirmed that they would be fielding a younger squad made up of under-18s and under-16s who will come from, or who will form the core, really, of this under-18 side in the 2025-2026 season. Of course, as mentioned earlier, this is where the Hammers will look to try and compete with the Premier League South, the FA Youth Cup, and look to defend that under-18 Premier League Cup title. Of course, it was a disappointing result last year in the FA Youth Cup where they got knocked out to Grimsby, and they'll be hoping a repeat of that doesn't happen this time around. Slight little bit of argy-bargy going on over there, but Callum Leacock's only got one thing in his mind, and that's to continue play. Of course, Rion Smith, the number 21, who you can see just on the bottom left of your screen now in West Ham colours. He's one of the youngest players in this team at the moment. He's an under-16 schoolboy. So a big game for him, and a big test as well. So here he is, the under-16 schoolboy, and his fellow colleague of the same age and same background, Emmanuel Onyeka Fejokuwu, who's also an under-16 schoolboy. Two players, one on the bench, one in the back line right now, who will, I'm sure, play a lot for the under-16s and give it their all when they play for this higher level. Scanlon. It's a clever ball up towards Beckford, but wasn't able to retrieve it. Throw in for the Hammers. Scanlon on towards Beckford. Left, perhaps slightly unintentionally, by Kamara. That's a nice pass out towards Dyke. West Ham slowly getting numbers forward now. It's whipped in first time, goes beyond the target, and Scanlon has to just clear things up down this near side. He'll send in another ball towards that far post. It's taken down. Surely, point blank save. Good effort there from Ondrej Dijk, testing Ondrej Suchi in the Slavia Prague goal. Now Slavia Prague look completely unfazed from that West Ham attack as they look to try and make one of their own. With that ball, they almost find Tomek. But it's cleared away as he throws his laces through that one, Finney Perkins. Look at that for a ball. The touch from Dijk. He knew what he was wanting to do straight after the ball went onto his right foot. Here's Janota. Tries to get the reverse pass to him from Barkov. There will be another corner. Slavia Prague dominating the stats early on. West Ham still yet to get a corner kick. Could have had one just then, but the goalkeeper saved it well, where the ball just went straight out. Ended up being a pass, really, that has led to this Slavia Prague attack. Another short pass. The last one tested the West Ham line. Can they do it again? Beckford tries to claim it, but instead they'll pass it all the way back to their goalkeeper, Suchi in goal. Doesn't come off the Prague player, and instead it'll be a Slavia Prague throw. That's a long throw. Teasing as well, but West Ham do enough to tuck it away from Rion Smith, who just passed it to his colleague. Here's Dijk. He's had the strike with that, seen West Ham get the closest to goal so far. Town's provider towards Medine on this left-hand side. He's going to cut in on his right, just shows a bit too much and swings his right foot at it. Smith passes it all the way back to his goalkeeper. Dean was brought down, and you can tell by the reaction of Simone Janota that he didn't feel that was correct. But that doesn't matter. West Ham have a chance to try and get back into this game as we approach the final 10 minutes of the first half. It will be the player that won it to send in this ball. Jepfar Medine. Fairly unorthodox. Thinking it could potentially find another West Ham player through a second ball or header, but the only person it really finds is Hooper. Here's Smith. Now Scanlon. He looks for a lovely peach of a ball. Kamara was there, the best target for him. Hooper's frustrated. And so is Callum Leacock. Just a pre-season friendly, lads, but do you know what? Seeing a little bit of frustration shown towards one another. I suppose just shows that they've got the passion for it. Just need to be able to channel it in the right way, I suppose. Yeah, Finley Hooper was taking no prisoners with him just then. Slavia Prague trying to catch out West Ham. They managed to win it back. West Ham certainly got more of a hold in this game than we saw in the first 20 minutes. Certainly grown into it now. I'm sure Loris Coggins will be frustrated that they've put themselves in this situation where they're having to chase a 2-goal lead. But you have seen them wake up and just start to play their game a bit more, albeit they haven't really done much going forward in terms of clear-cut chances on goal. But you've seen the ideas from the wings when they've tried playing the balls into the box. Of course, the closest they got to goal was through Andre Dijk when it was another lovely ball played into the box from Scanlon. So you can see there's been a bit of a similarity in their play style. But Slavia Prague have just been the more clinical. Two West Ham attackers there, slipping over. Joel Kerr more so than Andre Dijk, but still, I need to check the boots at half-time. Hooper coming out of his box and then kicking it out for a throw-in. I like the confidence though. And sometimes it can be frustrating when it doesn't lead to much. This looks promising. West Ham looking at the assistant referee to see if he's put his flag up, and by that reaction he has. Otherwise Matthias Tomek would have been through there with a glorious opportunity. But once again, West Ham holding their line well. Both sides, both believing the throne was theirs, but it goes in favour of the hosts. See the eagerness from Jephthah Medine, just trying to win it back. Something that will please his coaching staff, the way he's just accepting his defensive roles, especially as someone who's often an attacker. And that will be a foul on Joel Kerr. And a free kick for Slavia Prague. Just see a slight pull of the shirt, I suppose. Maybe quite soft there. Player he brought down was Alec Mundre. This looks promising though. Enough West Ham players back you'd feel, to be able to see off this pressure. That is the end of it for the first half. Ends here before the break. 2-0 to Slavia Prague. Some work to do for Loris Coggins and his side, but on a positive, they did really grow into the half. I take that for the next half. It's 40 minutes each way. We'll be right back in just under 15 minutes time.
Go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump. And you might think, what if I fall? Well, what if you don't? What if you fly?
Well, welcome back everyone for the start of the second half. Going into it a little bit deflated after the start of this game just didn't go West Ham's way. 2 goals in the first 20 minutes for Slavia Prague has meant they currently face a 2-goal deficit to try and get back to winning ways. Of course, there is still another game. They play Midtjylland on Friday. That will be the British summertime kickoff of 2 p.m. So there is still some salvaging, but if they lose this, it's highly unlikely, if not impossible, to finish top. But no fear. Maurice Coggins, of course, I'm sure will have just drilled a few things into the boys at half-time, just to get an idea of what they should really be doing in the second half to not see those mistakes made again. Of course, the last time out in this competition in 2024, the under-18s kicked off their campaign with a good 6-2 win, very good 6-2 win against Slavia Prague. And of course, they're hosting today, so matters have changed. However, they were 2-0 down at the break. 2-0 down to Slavia Prague and ended up winning 6-2. So, if it happened last year, why can't it happen this year? Of course, goals from Elisha Sawunmi and Josh Ajala are the reason they managed to come back. Of course, we don't have that sort of firepower in the lineup today. But who else could be that? Alicia Sawunmi and Josh Ajala. Of course, Andre Dyke looked promising in points, as did Jeptha Medine. Aaron Kamara as well, someone who gets his body around the whole pitch. So there are a couple of the boys who I reckon could make the impact, could make a difference. Of course, after that 6-2 win against Slavia Prague, hopefully something similar happens today. A last-minute goal was conceded against Austria Vienna in the final group game, which denied West Ham a place in the final. And West Ham ended up finishing 4th. Of course, as for the pre-season, this summer in July, the under-18s kicked off pre-season with a training camp in York, beating Salford City 4-2 and Leeds United 6-2. They then held a Premier League Cup semi-finalists Liverpool to a 1-1 draw in England's home of St George's Park. Of course, going into this game, they beat Northampton Town 2-1 in a friendly at Chadwell Heath. Look forward to being back there, up in the scaffolding and the gantry, overlooking Rush Green in weeks to come. Of course, the under-18s have found out their fixtures. The under-21 fixtures came out last week, or last night I should say. Next week they play Woking at 7 p.m. on Wednesday the 13th of August in the National League Cup. Well, it looks like we're ready to go now. Here we go, Slavia Prague kicking off with a 2-goal advantage. Some substitutions are being made first. So a bit more time to wait. Of course, the under-18s. Their season coming up. A lot to be excited for. Let's have a look at their first few games, of course. After this, their first game is away at Southampton. And then their first home game at Chadwell Heath, Saturday the 23rd of August against Birmingham City. That's at midday. And then what caps off their time in August against Premier League under-18 opposition is Leicester City. So we're off underway now. Hopefully a repeat of last year's game where they were 2-0 down at the break and then came back to win 6-2 against Slavia Prague is mirrored. In the next 39.5 minutes we'll find out. Nudged forward. West Ham trying to look hungry now through Dyke. He's got Beckford around him. Dyke keeping it in nicely. Here's Perkins. Swings one in towards that back post. Medine got a touch on it to try and steer it back into the mixer. headed away, but more height than direction there. They just try to poke it in towards Beckford, who had some space in the area. And then the long passes forward are what sometimes can be a side's kryptonite, especially when there's a lot of room. West Ham just trying to close them down, but Slavia Prague are doing well here, given the press from West Ham. Beckford goes in. Now ball over the top. The flag stays down, but Hooper once again outside of his box to clear it away. All the way back to the goalkeeper now. Bit of push and shove over there on that far side. Lovely interplay down that right as they look to try and play it in behind, but it's good defending there from Leacock. He was there when it mattered. Here they try to make something happen down the right through Dyke. Perkins very confident with the ball at his feet as he had the number 16, Thomas Brazda, onto him. But that's a lovely chip ball over the top. Goalkeeper not coming off his line, but that's because he's offside. That's unfortunate, as it did look for a brief moment West Ham were going to really make something happen there, and it was a terrific ball played from Lewis Beckford first time. I have no idea how that's offside. But unfortunately, that's the verdict for the Hammers. Foul given the way of Slavia Prague. And it's chipped over the top. Once again, Hooper. He likes playing like a centre half sometimes. That's putting it modestly. Here they come again. Taking it around the outside, going to pull it back. And the referee has pointed for a goal kick. Both players had their legs stuck out at it. Number 15, Ibrahim Saludin for Slavia Prague was the one who tried to strike it goalwards. West Ham with a bit of room through Beckford. He's closed down well, and it's an excellent slide challenge. Beckford doesn't give the ball up though. Great determination as Medine slides in too. Number 23, Stepan Chalis, is the player that's currently down. The captain had one of his boots off at one stage. You can just see the West Ham players there on that far corner, warming up, gearing up and getting ready to be prepared for when Loris Coggin may need them. This looks promising, but it's short-lived. Goal kick. Here they come through Saladin. First time ball, it's left. This looks promising. Side netting is where the ball ends up. And that was a really good move. It was left by Tomek, the number 6. As you can see, he knew his colleague was going to have a better opportunity. And it rattles some of the woodwork behind the frame of the goal. Oh dear, Hooper. He's let them have another glorious opportunity which they're unable to take. Of course, Finley Hooper, his distribution's been good at times, but when you're passing balls like that as well, that's something where you know you just need to improve that mindset, I suppose, or that awareness. I mean, balls like that are why Finley Hooper's such a brilliant goalkeeper at this level. And Kamara's just been caught in no man's land there as he's had 2 black shirts onto him. Perkins goes to help out, but Slavia Prague still have the ball firmly in their possession. Here's Frolic. He'll send one over, but it'll come off the foot of Joe Scanlon. And it's promising almost. Brilliant turn there from the schoolboy, Rion Smith. Effortlessly done. And completely unbothered by the pressure he had mounting on him. So Scanlon with the throw. Slavia Prague doing well and clearing their lines. Can they do that now though? Here's Medine. Trying to take it round so many players. Not giving it up though. Beckford will have a chance. Slavia Prague will try and come away, but that's a brilliant tackle standing up there from Kamara. Now Dyke. Tricky feet, goes down. The referee doesn't want to know. Let's have a look at this replay. Tricky feet, but that is a dive. Didn't really touch him. Disappointing to see that. When you've got the opportunity to feed a ball into the box or to create a chance, don't go down when you don't need to. Otherwise then you just give the ball away. So here comes Slavia Prague once more. Intercepted by Dyke, but passed out for a throw. There's their 24, Alex Mundre. It's a good ball over the top towards Tomek. He's been a danger man so far, and he pokes it to his colleague, who pulls it back. This is brilliant from Slavia Prague. Dyke there when it mattered to stop the pass from finding its target of Saladin. In the end, that ends up being a good ball towards Joel Kerr. He's got 2 onto him. That'll take some beating. And they manage to win. Little push and shove going in there as well. Just between Vinnie Perkins and one of the players for Slavia Prague. A reverse pass from Scanlon, not on target, and out for another throw from Slavia Prague. Promising run, but good defending. Stood tall, Callum Leacock. But then the pass just falls straight into his colleague and opens up some room behind him, but he does well to shut it off. Good pass. As Dyke collects it. Here's Kamara. He's brought down. There's Tyrone Matoye. He had Dyke just in front of him, but was fouled before he could make the pass. Here's Kamara. It's a promising ball over the top, but well intercepted. You can see Leacock's got his hands over Tomek, but he used them cleverly. This time it's intercepted again. There's number 24, Andre. Chance opens up for Kerr, he squares it through, and time just stood still. You didn't know what the goalkeeper was going to do and whether the West Ham attacker Andre Dyke was going to be there to tap it home. Quickly thrown out towards Kerr. Once again, he's just been bodied off the ball, but he still manages to find the pass. Here's Kamara. Omotoye. And here's Dyke in some room, unable to keep it in. If he had, that would have been a glorious opportunity. One of the Slavia players down now, not looking too good, with his head on the floor. Number 23, who's put himself about, got involved and stuck in with challenges. Stepan Kalas. He's back up on his own 2 feet, not looking too comfortable. The referee perhaps just wants to have a word with Andrei Suchi. Nice layoff. And the pass ricocheted back to the Slavia Prague player, but they look to try and dance through Andrei Frolic. West Ham win it back. Quick pass from Kamara. Out towards Medine. Dyke trying to make a run into the box. Here is Kamara. Now Perkins. Dyke once more, looking to cut it in on his left. He strikes it, and that's the second save the goalkeeper's had to make. Both coming from Andre Dyke. You could see he was wanting to perhaps feed it onto his left and just wrap his foot around it to try and find the corner. It was fairly routine for Suchi, more of just a catching exercise, but still positive to see West Ham try and test the goalkeeper and have an effort on target. Well, right now, looks like Aaron Kamara's the one down who may need some medical help. So just a little drinks break for both players, for both sets of players. Of course, this game ends after the 80-minute mark. Just for those of you who may be looking at the clock and waiting for the 90 minutes to come, full time is at 80. Of course, there have been some bright sparks. Didn't help making the mistake early on in the first half. Then admittedly the Slavia Prague second goal was a thing of pure satisfaction to watch, albeit not for a West Ham fan, just from a footballing point of view. However, West Ham have started to look a bit more lively, but just haven't really had that nous in front of goal, or had that style, I suppose, or that flair and passing movements to really feel like they're cutting open Slavia Prague, to really feel like they're getting and gaining some momentum on this Slavia Prague side. As for Slavia Prague themselves, they've had a few of those opportunities where they've just dinked it over the behind, and you feel like they've just been able to cut open West Ham's defence easier, but not consistently throughout the game. They've more just had their moments, and they've taken their moments. Hopefully West Ham can take theirs as we enter the final 20 minutes of the game. Of course, this is West Ham's third to last under-18s pre-season friendly before they kick off the under-18 season against Southampton. But in the meantime, they could make it 3, but once again the assistant referee's had his flag up. I believe the West Ham back line was so high up because they were obviously pressing and going forward with the way the ball were, with the way West Ham were just gaining yards up the pitch. I feel like the assistant referees have been lifting their hands up or their arms up every other second. There's been a lot of offsides so far, and the last one falls to Matthias Tomek, the number 6. Fired forward from Hooper, trying to find the number 11, David Chijigwa. So David Chiguada's come on as he plays down that left-hand side. I haven't clearly seen who's come off just yet, but we'll update you when I find out. And that's the end of the action for Matthias Tomek, who in fact has actually had a really promising game for Slavia Prague. He's certainly been a focal point in their attacks and has certainly cut open West Ham a few times. Number 7 coming on is Jakob Smiga. And they've also brought on the number 18, Jakob Kratachevil. If you're just joining us, of course, for the Hammers, David Chiguada has come on. Hopefully he can make something happen down the left-hand side, which has been occupied by Jeff Medine. And also who's come on for the West Ham, Reggie Morris and Jonathan Unwin. Of course, Jonathan Unwin last season only played 4 games for the under-18s, so this is going to be a season which sees him certainly given more minutes. As for Reggie Morris, this is the first time he's really started playing for the under-18s. Number 16, the other schoolboy, just like Rion Smith, Emmanuel Onyeka Fajokwu has come on. He came on as a sub last season, just made 1 substitute appearance, so he's someone that'll be looking to try and get more minutes under his belt for the under-18s. There's number 18, Martin Paychev. Just like Onyeka Fajokwu, only had 1 appearance last season for the under-18s, so plenty of hunger in this side, and plenty of development too. 15 minutes to go. So a very fresh West Ham side now with around 4 or 5 players coming on. Clipped down the line. Nothing comes of it. Here's Onyeka Fajokwu, just tidying things up and playing it back to Hooper. He's been caught out of possession there. This is a shame. Hooper with the save. Good work there from the number 1 to spare the blushes of Jonathan Unwin, who just got caught there. You could see him behind both of the Slavia Prague attackers, but he wasn't aware of Jakob Kratachevil's presence, who just launched at him from behind, won the ball fairly and managed to break through, but fortunately Hooper was on his A game there. Here goes Scanlon, first time ball in. He had a running Paychev looking to try and get on the end of that. This is promising. The strength in the Slavia Prague defence has been paramount for keeping West Ham out so far, but can they do it there? No, they can't. Slavia Prague able to just clear it away. He doesn't leave their half. Here's Jonathan Unwin once more. Paychev. An awkward ball that's just fired all the way out to that far side, and it will be a throw-in. Trying to wait for the reverse pass there from Lewis Beckford. A lot of congestion right now on the pitch. They're all very tight to one another. Can things open up for West Ham? They'll have a second effort, flying high, but not too far away. But enough to not make the goalkeeper scramble across his line to try and keep it out. Laid off by Paychev for Vinnie Perkins, who fancied getting a bit of a screamer there. And they come down once again. 13 minutes left of play. Here's Onyeka for Jokwu. Perkins on the overlap, but Paychev goes inside. Back to Paychev. This could look promising, but just shows too much of the ball. And Slavia Prague, once again, the robust defending has just enabled them to really deal with the West Ham pressure and then go out and make something of their own. But in the meantime, Paychev looks to slide one across. There will be a West Ham corner. I believe this is their first corner of the game. Certainly of the second half. It's a high delivery and a poor one too. Not really much to say about that, apart from disappointing. But more substitutions to be made. Off comes Vinnie Perkins, who started the game, as well as Lewis Beckford. I believe coming on is Chinaza and Wosu and Connor Brooks. Connor Brooks, another player who has not played a single minute of under-18s football yet, apart from during this campaign, of course, or the pre-season campaign. Chinaza and Wosu, however, the opposite. 21 appearances, all competitions last season. Now remember, he scored the winning penalty in the penalty shootout that put West Ham through in the quarter-finals of the Premier League Under-18 Cup. And of course, they then went on to beat Derby County and ultimately Reading to be crowned champions. So 10 minutes left of play. Cooper just allowed time to launch it over towards this right. Has to be chased down there by Martin Paychev to ensure an opponent doesn't get it. Foul on the West Ham player. Reggie Morris brought down legally. Here's Brooks. Almost dispossessed. Covered a lot of ground there as he brought the ball inside. Well, of course, the next game will be the under-18s facing Midtjylland. Of course, their under-19 squad, and that'll be at 2 p.m. this Friday. Really committed himself there, the youngster Onyeka Fujokwu. Looked like he was fairly injured afterwards. But this is a good run from Paychev as he manages to wriggle away from his opponent. Still Paychev. Can they get a late goal? Paychev brought down. Was it illegal? No, it wasn't. It'll be a corner. West Ham with 2 penalty shouts. That one had more behind it than the first one. Just seeing here, he tried to drift it round the number 15, Ibrahim Saladin. They get a corner out of it. And that is a big shame. When you take the short corner and then you anticipate the player to then make the run to receive the pass back following the short corner, to then give it away for a throw, is sloppy. Of course, they've still got lots of development, and they are, and always will be, 100 times the player I am. But seeing that is a shame, especially late on when they're getting opportunities to try and get back into it, albeit with just minutes to go. Intercepted nicely by Nwosu. Back out to Paychev, who's been lively since he's come on. Look forward to seeing more of him in this tournament. Nwosu. Slightly heavy pass for Chiguada to receive. Back out to Brooks. Swung in. This is a good opportunity, but it's cleared away frantically by Thomas Bratstad. And let off for Slavia Prague. West Ham having some of their closest football to goal all game. That was really well worked, but the final pass just letting him down from Nwosu. He's given advantage to carry on. Slightly heavy pass back, which just allows the Slavia Prague number 24, Alex Andre, to try and win it back. The referee's not having it. Another chance for Paychev. Once again, beating his man, putting one on the floor as well. They just haven't found their rhythm in the penalty box. Perhaps that's down to the just robust nature of this Slavia Prague side, making it difficult and just swarming their bodies at every position possible. It's a low ball put in, and it goes through the clusters of players. 90 seconds left of the 90 now. Casually plays it out towards Brooks. Along the floor, that's nice, where there's the layoff. And then it's a central midfielder powering forward, just like Nwosu did there, but that's a poor ball played in. There might be a free kick just before then. It's the offside that frustrates David Chiguada. He felt he had some room to try and make something happen in, but it's not going to be West Ham's day. There won't be the repeat of that emphatic 6-2 scoreline that we saw last season against Slavia Prague. But there were still glimpses. Of course, Pachev coming on was certainly an exciting addition to this side that just started to make things tick down the right. And you feel like if he was given a full game, maybe more could have happened. But it looks to be the end now. And the final result all but confirmed before the referee blows his whistle as he checks the watch. And Slavia Prague enjoy possession late on. But Nwosu's not giving up. The referee blows his whistle in favour of the Nwosu challenge. So West Ham will get a last-minute free kick. Slavia Prague still come away with it. Here is Nwosu. This could be a good effort. Stings the palms and they get a late goal. The strike coming towards that far corner. And then it's nodded down. The player who got the final touch, substitute David Chiguada. But the strike coming from the number 14 who's played all game, Joel Kerr. And who would have thought it? Surely not a last-minute equaliser. Well, they got the goal, and that'll give them confidence going into the next round. They've won the second half as well, which is always a positive. Not if Slavia Prague can make something happen here. Still time on the referee's watch. West Ham could have one last attack, and they feel it, they sense it. Look at the pace now from the goal scorer Chiguada, but he is forced to just hold it up. Played all the way over from Unwin, but too high, and you feel like that could be the end of it. Well, after a slight chance of a comeback, it looks like that's going to be the action over and done with now. Pass back, surely not, to try and make it 3-1, drags it across. And then it looks like it was going to be struck from distance. And that, I believe, is the end of the action. When you look at the players now, Slavia Prague disappointed, but West Ham will be disappointed as well. More so because they lost 2-1, but that second half performance certainly had positives in it. The substitutions did look good, they looked positive. Chinaza and Nwosu, of course, looking powerful. David Chiguada, the pace as well, to be able to just beat his man. Of course, he did have 3 on him at once, and he had no choice but to simply pull it back. And then, of course, Martin Pachev, a player that looked promising. Emmanuel Onyeka for Jokwu, the fact that he's an under-16 schoolboy and he's playing with that shows how promising he can be. As for the players that started, Aaron Kamara, big player. Andre Dyke, disappointing for a couple of his errors, especially the dive. But here, we'll just go over the goals. Of course, the number 11 running away in celebration. 5 minutes into the match, and he put his side 1-0 up. Finley Hooper won't want to have a look at this one. But then, look at this for a goal. Just lets it bounce 3 times on the third volley, I suppose. And bam, into the bottom corner. In all fairness, it was a very well taken goal. But then, Joel Kerr came up with some left-footed magic, steering it to that far side. The goalkeeper parrying it in a really good position if you're David Chiguada, and he nodded it home. It did look like a second could potentially be on the cards, but it does end in defeat. You've been joined with me, Ollie Ordis will be back on Friday afternoon for the game against Midtjylland. Have a lovely rest of your evening, everyone. It ends here. Your Hammers 1, Slavia Prague 2.